I told him, can you fire me? He was surprised. To be able to exit your company, you have to be global so that you be visible on the radar of any. So I built a strategy, which is annoying my competition. That is what I did. In fact, I started, you always, if you want to exit your company, your image in the market should be at least 10 times bigger than your real size.
Welcome to Voices of Life, a podcast dedicated to celebrating the inspiring members of life and friends of life. In each 20-minute episode, we invite listeners to discover the remarkable stories, experiences, and insights of Lebanese professionals who are part of our global network. My name is Rani Hamad. I'm a board member and chair of the Advocate Committee of Life, and I'll be your host for today. Today, I'm excited to speak with Anis Rahal, CEO of Xfolio, a fintech company revolutionizing treasury and wealth management by unifying and managing cash and portfolios in real time. Anis Rahal, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Anis, you grew up in Lebanon during the war and studied at the University of Saint Joseph, USG, and ended up deciding to leave in 1998 to France. Tell us about those early years.
I finished in 1997. And then I applied for a master in France, and I was accepted in Paris. And I went there, in fact, to learn finance, because after I finished my finance studies in USG, I ended up working in a bank in Lebanon. And you know, when you finish your licence, your BA in Lebanon, you end up a teller or behind the guichet. Or I applied by coincidence because one of my clients was the head of Centre Culturel Français in Beirut, and she used to love coming to me to do her checks and her banking, daily banking stuff. So she helped me in applying, and she got me the approval to go to France. I want to change a little bit the career path I was taking here in Lebanon.
So by your own admission, you were a mediocre student, but ended up studying finance and started a career in banking and then into wealth management. Tell us about that trajectory and how did that kind of come about?
In fact, you have this etiquette of being mediocre in Lebanon if you are not good in math and physics and in chemistry, which was the case for me. And yes, I mean, I didn't like these scientific, I would say, topics in school, and I was really not good in it. And I was always 10 over 20 and sometimes below, and I had to do summer school to pass each class. And by the way, after I finished my baccalaureate, I did 2 years of cinema and theater in USG. It took me, in fact, I finished in 1990 my school. Wow. And it took me 7-8 years to finish my BA in France, because I lost 2 years in cinema and theater in USG in ESAV at the time. But I failed as well in acting and in cinema.
So tell us about your story about how you ended up working for Bolloré and ADP and what that experience was like for you.
I started the internship in a company called Saint-Gobain in the financial management as a first internship in France. And this is how I landed in treasury. So it was not by choice. I didn't know about treasury. I did finance in general, corporate finance. So I ended in treasury, and treasury, it's a niche field. You know, it's not like financial analysis or going to M&A or corporate finance. It's a niche. You don't have a lot of resources in it. So it was a luck and a coincidence at the same time. And after my internship, I was, recruited by Bolloré. I sent a CV and they called me for an interview. And my path in treasury started, and from the internship, and I stayed in it. Bolloré, it's a French group, and ADP, then, my last experience as an employee, it was in ADP, which is an American company. The three of these different companies had the same, I would say, scenario to start your journey in treasury, which is you wake up in the morning, the first task you have to do is what? Is to manage your cash, to see how much cash do you have in your pocket on a daily basis. That means if you have a large group with a lot of legal entities around the world, you have to connect to the web banking of each bank to export the data to Excel, and then you do your cash analysis. And I am a really lazy person. I hate manual tasks.
It's time consuming.
Exactly.
So access every account.
So I left Lebanon because I didn't like the guichet at the bank, and I ended up doing Excel the whole day, exporting data to Excel. So what the hell? I mean, it's the same thing. It's boring. It's not something that, amusing, or you don't have an intellectual, I would say, work to do in terms of investment, disinvestment. You see this in the movies. You say, I'm going to do finance. It's boring. It was really boring. So I started digging, and I found something called SWIFT, which is an interbanking network. Mm-hmm. And I saw that all the banks talk to each other via this SWIFT network under the same format. So I went to the FNAC in France. I bought some books in coding. And here it's...
FNAC, the bookstore.
The bookstore, yeah.
Yeah.
And I started, learning how to code.
Wow.
And then, I started working on the Swift format, to understand it. I started reading, and at the time we didn't have internet and Google right now, so we had to buy books and read in papers to understand how it works. So then I end up doing a dashboard that consolidate the job of myself and two of my colleagues in really 3-4 seconds. I ask the banks to send me on a daily basis all these files, and instead of going to the web banking of each bank, export the data and doing it manually on Excel, the systems that I built start doing it automatically.
So you had almost real-time data.
Yeah. And then I didn't say this to my management because I was enjoying it.
So I have a story that you actually asked your boss to fire you.
Exactly. So I needed, in fact, in France, you have it's by law, if you resign, you get nothing. You go and you have to fund yourself. But if you are fired, you have the right to get 60 to 70% of your last salary for 2 years.
Wow.
On a monthly basis. So it's like...
So this was your venture capital, in
exactly.
other words.
So I went to see my boss, who was happy from what I was doing. I told him, please, can I talk to you? He said, yes, of course, Hunter. So I told him, can you fire me? He was surprised. He was shocked. He said, I don't want to fire you. Why are you asking me? I thought you're coming to ask me for a raise, not for to get fired. So I explained to him, look, listen, I have a deal for you. You fire me, and I will give you a system that will automate my job, and you won't have to recruit someone to replace me. Like this, you will have it for free. You will not. You will be really removing a cost of an employee in your department. He was smart. He said yes. He accepted, which is extremely rare, especially in France, because I was in ADP, but in France, so which is extremely rare to find someone who accept to do that. So he made the paperwork so that I get fired.
I have to say, that was a very creative way of thinking about getting fired and a way of raising funds. So you set up your company, Treasury Express, and it grows, and you start recruiting people.
Yeah.
And so tell us how the growth of the company happened, and what was your vision in terms of where you saw, where you wanted to be in a few years.
Yeah. At the beginning, my company was extremely French, and I was really targeting French groups. And then, you discover with time, especially when you become an entrepreneur, that if you are, what is your goal? If you want to have a company and have a small boutique and live from it, or you want really to exit and to reach your early retirement. My goal was always, I want the early retirement. I don't want to spend my life working in this business, in this field. I want to do something else. So, to be able to exit your company, you have to be global, so that you be visible on the radar of all the competition. And to be global, you have to leave, the French borders. So I started prospecting outside. First of all, my first step was really to make the company English a little bit. I mean, English speaking and in French, which is impossible. So I started looking to this is why, I mean, I came to Lebanon, by the way. I came back to Lebanon to outsource my technical hub from Paris to Beirut. And my first client outside France was in Dubai. It was in Dubai. It was with Majd al-Futtaim at that time. They found us on Google. They were looking for a company specialized in Swift. So I took a plane from Paris to Dubai. At the time, it was the first time I go to Dubai. And we spent 2 weeks there and we closed the deal. And then I said, okay, there is a market in Dubai. So we started prospecting the Gulf countries, and we became the leader of the Gulf countries in terms of treasury management system at that time.
Yeah. So you started talking about outsourcing some of your talent to Lebanon. Tell us why and what were some of the advantages or maybe some of the challenges you faced doing that.
In fact, my main challenges with French developers at that time, it was the linguistic barrier. So I started working with a external resource here from Lebanon, who became, by the way, the CTO of the company after that.
Chief Technology Officer.
Yeah, and I gave him, 6-7%, and he exited with us. I mean, he stayed with us. I started working with him, and I still remember how it happened. In fact, when I took the decision to migrate everything to Lebanon, you know, in France, we are the champion of strikes. We like strikes in France. I had a client outside Paris, and there were massive strikes in Lebanon, no trains, nothing. So we had a technical issue with this client, and he called us saying that, listen, guys, I am working with a small company because I believed in you. I am not getting my reports since 2 days. You have to fix it. And at that time, we didn't have cloud. You know, we used to do a local implementation on the client servers. So I had to send someone from the office to fix it. So, and I was discussing it with this Lebanese resource here in Lebanon, and he said to me, "I have a Brazilian passport. I can go to France with no visa if you want." And we had really a deadline till tomorrow to fix it. At the time, we had a flight on Middle East from 2 a.m. You land at 5 a.m. in the morning in France. So he took a flight from Beirut
to Paris.
He landed in the airport. He took the taxi from the airport directly to the client, and he fixed it.
I was thinking you were going to say you didn't want to have employees like you who want to be fired and get 70% of it. This was one of the reasons. But so that's another...
in fact, Lebanese developers, by the way, globally, till now, even with this new adventure, I am really duplicating the same structure, which is Xfolio is a French company, by the way. It's a holdings based in Paris, but all the back office is based in Beirut. All the developers are based in Beirut. First of all, you don't have a linguistic barrier. They speak French, English, Arabic. They want to learn new technologies. Yes. They like to learn new technologies because they have this. I want to prove something.
I wanted to finally get to the point that you talked about, which is that you've always figured out how to position yourself and the company towards being bought out, and you did this with Treasury Express, and it was bought out by Bottom Line. And now with Xfolio, you're already kind of beginning to think about where you want to position it. Tell us, how did you come to that decision, and how does one do that?
It was after the 5 years of Treasury Express existence. When you start an entrepreneur path, it's normal sometimes at the end you get tired. Physically, mentally, and it's. I will not say you get bored. I was really. I like to sell. What I liked in Treasury Express because at the end I stopped doing finance. I was really a sales guy. I was a sales resource in Treasury Express, and I used to love selling to clients, especially when you win a deal against the competition. It's really have a
high.
It's your adrenaline. It goes it goes high. So after the 5th year, I said, okay, now it's either I raise funds and I continue the adventure, or I try to find an exit where I sell the company. So I built a strategy which is annoying my competition. That is what I did. In fact, I started, I still remember because, we did our fundraising with MVP here in Lebanon, and we had a huge event in the US. And really, it was the biggest financial event in the US called the AFP event,
Wow.
Association of Financial Professionals. We had about 20,000 CFO coming from all the world to get this event. And Treasury Express is a small company, You had JP Morgan, you had huge banks, huge institutions, bottom line, Vanguard, companies doing billions of dollars. So I still remember I invited MEVP guys to the events to see where their money is going. And they arrive and they see Treasury Express having the biggest booth ever in the event. And we are nothing. So we were in the middle between Bottom Line and JP Morgan. They were asking, who the hell are these guys? Treasury Express, we never heard about them. So I started to annoy him by having a bigger image than the real size of Treasury Express. And this is, in fact, what the trigger is, that you always, if you want to exit your company, your image in the market should be at least 10 times bigger than your real size.
Yeah.
And then I started to betting against him on all the deals. He's, he's invoicing a client $10,000 per month, 100 just to win it. So
Wow.
I started annoying him, and then he called me and said, "Okay, gonna stop whenever you want. Okay, come take your check and leave." And the exit happened like this.
Wow. So basically, annoy your competition so they buy you out.
Yeah, but smartly, in a way where really it's just not only in terms of pricing, but also in terms of image, because we started to be, in fact, on the radar and visible on the radar of all the competition when our size was bigger than our real. Our image was bigger than our real size.
Yeah. So finally, just a quick question about life. You joined recently. What's your experience like? Why did you join?
I joined. I want to help. It's especially now with the situation in Lebanon, economically speaking. If I can help in a way where I can mentor some students, or I can mentor some entrepreneurs, and helping in students who requires help in funding their studies. Sometimes you have to pay back. And we have now an organization that is capable of doing such things. So why not?
Great. Anis Rahal, thank you for joining the podcast. We love what you did. We love how you do it. We're looking forward to hearing about more adventures and more interesting business opportunities that you take advantage of, and hope to have you back on the podcast.
Thank you, Ronnie, and thank you, Life.
Thank you for listening to Voices of Life, where stories connect us and purpose moves us. Join our global network and be part of Lebanon's brighter future, wherever you are. To learn more about life, visit our website and follow us on social media. Thank you.